What's up, Naya? Chronicles, it's your girl Naya, back with another video. Welcome back to Deep Conversations. Yes. Before I get into the video, make sure that you do like, comment, and subscribe. Turn that red button gray, cause it's gray all the way. Nothing more, nothing less. Bye-bye. So in today's Deep Conversations, I don't have no notepad or anything. If you hear any noise in the background, excuse me, that's my mom. She downstairs on the phone cooking, and whatever else, please excuse. Today's conversation is going to be finding yourself in Christ. Okay, now when I say finding yourself in Christ, I mean finding your identity and learning who you are, learning your likes, learning your dislikes, learning your self-worth, learning your value, learning your morals, learning your principles, just learning you so that you know how to treat yourself so that other people could treat you the same way. And it's not more so about other people, it's more about you, but how you treat yourself is how everyone else is going to approach you. This conversation stemmed up from me actually just sitting here talking to myself, and I had this, just a little backstory. I had this old TikTok account, okay? And when God first told me to start posting content, I felt like I had to post about God, because I knew that looking at me from the outside and my character, it wasn't good, so people couldn't see God in me. So I was kind of projecting that, and I felt like I had to post about God so much because you couldn't see God in me. So I was sitting here and I was talking about how I had to start over, and God took away my old phone, which had all my other accounts on there. God, thank God I got my Instagram and stuff back, but my TikTok account mainly. And I was talking about how I believe God, I believe that people see God in me, because on my old TikTok account, the only people that was, you have those filtered messages or whatever, the only people that was texting me in them was old white men or whatever the case might have been. I blocked them because that's dangerous. Now on this account, I see is prophets and pastors and preachers, and I'm like, wow, it's either that people could see God in me or something, it's just something new about me. And then I just had this big revelation that it wasn't more so about me having to post about God, it was more so about me being myself so that people could see God in me, because I found my identity in him. I unlocked a new personality through him, and I figured out who I was, Janaya, the chosen one, the blueprint, the daughter of the Most High God, and whatever my titles might be, I don't know, I'm still working on it, but you get what I'm trying to say. Choosing God is not the easiest thing. Choosing God has to be one of the hardest things, because as I like to say, you unlearn everything that you knew before to relearn everything that you need to know. Okay? And there's going to be some things that you can't let go of, or not that you can't let go of, because can't cannot be in your dictionary. Some things might be harder to let go of, or some things might just be a lot more difficult. For me, that was smoking, and I'm still in a time where I'm trusting God with my addictions, and I laid it at his feet and I laid it at his throne, because I realized that without him, I cannot do it alone. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I found my train of thought. I'm sorry. Like I was saying, things might be hard to let go of, but that's the point in trusting God with certain things. Now, who I was before, I'm from New York, okay? And being in New York, being in this generation, being in what we call the hood, I was exposed to a certain kind of lifestyle, okay? I was exposed to boys, to sex, to drugs, to languages, to habits, to lingos, to a lot of different things. And when I was put in a scenario when God completely removed me from that whole entire lifestyle and put me in a season of isolation, It was very difficult because in that moment, I'm like, how did I get here? What did I do to deserve this? What did I do to get to this point? Because I know that I'm a good person. I know that I am loyal. I know that I am genuine. I do not do anything to anyone for me to be in this position. But it was because I had those characteristics that I was in those positions. God used me being a good person to remove me from a lifestyle that would have made me a bad person. And in that time, I was broken and I was hurt and I wasn't seeing anything but revenge, and I wasn't seeing anything but hate and envy and jealousy. And I was seeing that situation. I allowed that situation to break me and silence me and mute me and like just completely allow me to see everything in black and white, because I thought that every single person possessed the same qualities. Now, don't get me wrong, everyone does possess those qualities. Everyone does have bad qualities, but people stand on morals and principles. And I wasn't seeing that because I I learned from that experience. You get what I'm saying? I sat in the corner of every room and I listened to the conversations that people will have, or I saw how they would carry themselves, and it automatically brought me back to that same person that did me wrong. You get what I'm saying? I learned from it, even though it broke me. And in that season of isolation, not having any friends and coming home and not having anyone to talk to, in that moment, I wasn't seeing God. Okay? Because it's like, if God loved me, he wouldn't do that to me. And it took me a long time to realize that it's because that he loved me. It took me a long time to realize that because God loved me, he put me in that position. He needed me to go through that so I could handle a lot of things, because he put a lot of things on my life for me to fulfill for him. Now, in the current season that I am in, that I kind of went off, but just to bring us back, that was me saying how God removed me from a certain lifestyle to allow me to find myself. Because if I was still around those people, I would be adapting their identity and not my own. Now, in the season that I am in, when I talk to God, in this season that I am in, I don't know, okay? But I know that I found myself. I know that I know who I am. I know my name. I know what I stand for, baby. I'm me. Whether you choose to like that or not, I gained self-confidence because I learned that, to be honest, to think about it, it's like I learned that I am a princess. You know what I'm saying? I went through a lot of things to get to where I'm going now. And I don't know what it is that you might be going through. And I don't know how it's breaking you or how it's tearing you apart. But don't see it as something to break you. I say give it to God. You get what I'm saying? Get a journal and talk to God about it. Ask God why. Not why is this happening to me, but why am I experiencing this? What am I supposed to be learning from this? Because I promise you, anything that you are going through is not to hurt you, but it's to make you a better person. Now, I'm not saying anything that I've gone through because of God, I've learned to not be ashamed of, okay? I've been with a lot of different boys. I'm not a virgin and I am very young. I have did a lot of things to put myself in a predicament where I could get attention, and I dressed a certain way and I looked a certain way. So I can speak from experience where I tell you, when I found God, this is exactly what it is. I started realizing that the only person I needed to please was him. When I grasped that mentality, everything just started looking a lot easier. I started realizing that I was the blueprint and everybody else was the copycat. And not to say it to be cocky or nothing, but that's exactly what it was. I started realizing that I was doing me and people was hating me for it. I started realizing that I was doing me and I was getting envied and I was getting hated and I was getting despised only because I wasn't doing what everyone else. That's what I started realizing. When I started realizing that tying my shirt to the back was restricting me from breathing. When I realized I would like pull it out and it would just be a relief because it was so tight, because I felt like I had to show my body. Like, it needs to be seen. Baby, no it don't. If you feel like your body has to be shown for you to grasp attention, then you need to fix that insecurity. Why do I feel like I have to show my body? If you feel like you need to be loud so everyone could see you, what is wrong with me? Why am I not healed? When you're dealing with insecurities and when you're dealing with, well, a lot of people do not like to say that they're insecure, okay? They like to just say it like, no, like, she just, like, they don't like to admit that they're insecure. The only way that you're ever going to find self-confidence and the only way that you're ever going to find your identity is by acknowledging the problems that you have to face. Okay? Like, a good example is I had to admit that I had an addiction for me to come to the realization that I needed to stop. If I never came to the conclusion that I actually had an addiction, I am addicted to this. I cannot go to sleep without using this. I cannot eat without using this. Anytime my mood would change, I had to use it. I had to come to that conclusion myself for me to realize this is a problem and I have to stop. You know what I'm saying? It's all about you having to own up to things, because if you don't know, nobody won't know for you. Nobody's going to be able to help you unless you come to that conclusion that you need to help yourself. Finding your identity in Christ is you saying, I'm going to push all of this stuff aside and see what God has for me. See who I am through him. See what he has called me for. And sometimes your calling might not be something that you want to do because you are uncomfortable with it or you never saw yourself doing it, but that's who you are. You get what I'm saying? Me, I always love being on camera, baby. I always love being on the camera. I always love posing. I always love doing everything. And it's so crazy because back into my isolation season where I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't have anyone to turn to. So I started talking to myself. And that prepared me for being on the camera, because now it's like I could just say the same thing that I would tell myself to a camera. And it was more so, there was a point where I had to get over the fear of caring what other people thought. But then again, I had to remind myself, I'm not doing this for me. I'm no longer living for myself. I'm living for God. I'm living for a higher purpose. That's what it is. So finding yourself through Christ and finding who you are through Christ, it all begins with you. It all begins with the self-reflection. It all begins with the acknowledgement. It all begins with the sacrifice. It all begins with the wait, I want to say it properly because the way I was about to say it just sounded so wrong. It all comes with the loss of losing fear and anxiety. It all comes with the loss and the deprivation. I don't know if that's the word, of caring about what other people think, because I promise you, the moment you stop caring about what everyone else thinks is the moment that you're gonna be happy. Because you find yourself, oh my gosh, what if she don't like this? Oh my gosh, what if he don't like this? He don't care. He's living his life, but you're living for him. You have to start living for you and God, because that is the only thing in this lifetime that will satisfy you. You have to get into this mindset that it's all about you. It is 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 all about you. This is your world and everyone else is living in it. That's the mindset that you have to gain. It's not being selfish, it's being selfless. Because if you don't care for yourself, you're not going to be able to care for nobody else. If you don't love yourself, if you don't know what love feels like, how you going to love someone else? This is your world and everyone else is just living in it. And to some people that might be selfish. And to some people that might be, oh, who says that? You have to gain that mentality for you to find yourself. Because not having that mentality is you living in everyone else's world. You living in everybody else's world. Everybody doing their own thing. You following them and you're not following yourself. You're not making yourself genuinely happy. You're not doing what you enjoy to do because you're so scared. Oh my gosh, what if he's uncomfortable? Who cares? Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Are you living your best life? Because that person gonna move on. They gonna go to the next chapter in life, and you still in that same position where he left you at, where she left you at, where they left you at, only because you cared about what they thought, only because you cared about what they had going on. They wasn't paying you no mind. They wasn't paying you no mind. It's all about living for you and God. Okay? That is the most important thing. Do what you love to do. Do what makes you happy. Because you're going to find that when you're making yourself happy, it's like life just becomes easier to handle. Life just becomes a lot simpler to deal with. Because like, you know what? I'm doing what makes me happy. I find joy in this. I know that if I'm irritated, I'm going to just go do that thing. I love singing. If I'm a little pissed off, I'm a little irritated, I'm going to start singing. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a little sad, I'm going to start singing. And that became my drug. You know what I'm saying? And that might not be a good thing, but it's what I love to do. It's what I was called to do. So it's all I can do. I always say, if I can't sing, there's no point in me living. Okay? I found myself in Christ. I found my passions. I found my desires. I found my loves. I found my wants, my things I don't want. I found my needs, my do's, my don'ts, my icks, it's so many things that I found after I chose Christ, because this is who I'm actually called to be. This is what I was put on this earth for. Every single person on this earth has a purpose, and this is mine. Speaking to you, helping you, encouraging you, making you feel better about yourself so that we could all walk in our designed purposes. We could all live our best lives. You want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an auntie, an uncle? Do that, because that's what makes you happy. You get what I'm saying? It's no living for anyone else. And the second you start questioning, I don't know. You can't leave any room in your mind for doubt. That's just another topic for another day. But yes, finding yourself in Christ is the beginning of your happiness. Finding yourself in Christ is the beginning of knowing your love. Like gaining love. And like I said in the beginning of the video, like I said, like earlier in the video, choosing God isn't easy. Sacrificing isn't easy. Giving up friends, giving up family, giving up habits, giving up whatever. It's not easy, because it's like this whole time I'm thinking, yes, this is for me. And then it's like you choose God and you realize, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What? It shocks you, because it's like, wait, in what reality do I not have this in this one? In this very reality. If people like to pray that prayer, oh God, if it's not for me, remove it. And then the second you start seeing everything falling off, you start crying, you start getting sad. It's like you have to pull yourself back. This is what I asked for. This is what I told God I was ready for. Because if you pray for it, that means you feel like you're ready for it. If God don't give it to you, if He don't allow it to happen, then that means it's not time yet. You still need that thing. You still need that person. You still have to grow from that situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what I had to say. Find yourself through Christ. No, especially as a female, you want to be virtuous, baby. You want to be virtuous. You want to have good characteristics. You want to be a good person. You want to be a trustworthy person. You want to be a person that a stranger don't know you, but that stranger could confide in you because your spirit is welcoming, your aura is warm. That is that now that's what I'm talking about. Okay? Knowing who you are. That's the beginning of your happiness, finding your identity through Christ. That's all I have to say. Have a blessed day.